Good morning, everyone. Coming to you on YouTube and on Litter Media Radio with this special edition of Litter Media Live. I'm Dan Ramey, and we're going to talk today about a particular summit that's coming to Ohio Christian University soon, dealing with autism. We have specialists with us here today. We'll explain who they are in just a moment right after this from our friends at Kingston National Bank.
Wherever you are there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
Back again with a special edition of Litter Media Live here today. Going to talk about the 2025 Pickaway County Autism Summit. This is a first-time event. It'll be held at Ohio Christian University. We have Tom Kitchen with us. He is with the Pickaway County ESC. That's the Educational Service Center. Also from Logan Elm today, we have with us Tami Clark, Special Education Director at Logan Elm Local Schools, and Jaymi Brumfield. She's the Special Education Director at Teays Valley Schools. Good to have you here in Chillicothe today. Thank you for coming down. This is an issue that is not exclusive to Teays Valley, Logan Elm, or Pickaway County. Autism is really, we talk about the popularity of this, and the reason I use the word popularity is more and more people are being diagnosed with autism, aren't we?
Yes.
Who would like to begin?
I can. You know, we had met, I think, at the end of last summer and saw a huge need in our county and surrounding counties to get some information into parents' hands, educators' hands, to get some help. We have some great resources in Pickaway County, but a lot of our families do not know that they exist. So the real gist of the Autism Summit is to get people connected with the resources that are out there, help them get identification, help them get hooked up with services so they can get the help that they need for their child.
Identifying autism, it takes some specialty in that regard, because you can see signs, but unless you are a specialist, you don't know for sure that this person has autism.
Yes, that's correct. We have in our schools, when we evaluate a student, we can evaluate that student and do an educational autistic diagnosis that allows us as a school to identify a student, provide services, provide related services for that student, but it doesn't necessarily help the family out in the medical field or out getting additional sources for the student outside of their typical school day. Mm-hmm. So for us as a school, we can support the child, but having the family get resources and additional support, it takes a lot longer for that family to get that support or to get that diagnosis outside of the school. It could be anywhere from a year to 18 months for them to even get an initial evaluation.
Yeah. And as we were discussing earlier, the advancement of kids, 6 months is a big difference.
Yes.
It really is. Tom, I know that when we look at this, you're involved with a lot of education, but special education is a little more fine-tuned, I think, because you have to look for ways to help these kids.
Yeah, I think there are so many unique things about students with disabilities. And even within the autism determination or autism category, it's an autism spectrum disorder. It's if you've met one student with autism, you've met one student with autism. You can't take the same cookie cutter approach with one particular student or that you used with one particular student with another. I mean, it's just there's such a variety of where a student falls and what their needs may be. So it's really difficult sometimes for parents to, like Tami was saying, find those resources because they may link up with another parent that has a child with autism, but it's not the same needs. It's not the same barriers that they're experiencing. So I think it does create a little bit of stress, a lot of stress really on the education system to try to meet those varying needs. And I think, Logan Elm and Teays Valley, Circleville, Westfall, all of our districts in Pickaway County do a great job of working with parents and trying to find, what is that resource? What's that magic wand that we wish we had to kind of eliminate some of those barriers? But all of our districts have behavior supports in place and have speech therapists and occupational therapists and provide physical therapists. So there's a wide range of services. And I think like Tami was saying, the sooner we can connect those parents to those services, then we can start figuring out what is the right plan for that particular student.
Yeah, I think on the marketing aspect, from what we've seen on TV and in the newspapers, magazines, the puzzles with the different colors of the pieces and everything really describes autism, because you don't know, there's not just one item, is there? There's a wide spectrum of causes and reasons that things happen. And there's not really a particular age, is there?
No, but the earlier that we can identify those needs in a child and provide early intervention, the outcomes are better for that child. So if we can get that family connected to a speech therapist or an occupational therapist or somebody in those very early developmental years, then the statistics show that they're more likely to be able to have those communication skills when they get older.
It's kind of like a wild horse. You get that horse, and then you start training it. The earlier you can get it, it doesn't have the habits, so to speak, or the things that create difficulties. They learn how to control these things, right? What would you, when we look at this particular event that's coming up, of course, you've got a keynote speaker who's Jared Smalley from Channel 4. He is famous for having kids with autism. So he's an advocate right there. But not only is he a great spokesperson for this, he lives it every day, and he can relate. And what do you expect to hear from him when this event happens on the 5th of April?
We just kind of gave him the opportunity to provide whatever avenue he wanted to go down, but more than anything, we wanted our parents to be able to see that there are people out there who have children with autism, and they're successful as a family. They're successful with their children, and they're able to every day, have positive experiences and positive outcomes. That he works, he has a job, and he has children with autism. Like it is something that is manageable, and you are able to lead productive lives. And we want our families to understand that this is a child, your child, and you're here to advocate for your child just as he is. He advocates for his child, and that every family has unique circumstances, and they bring the best of their families to school every day when they bring their children to school every day. And we want them to understand that we're here for them, to support them, to help them in any way we can. And this is one other piece to that we're providing resources for them at this summit. And we're also providing some education to them to let them know that we're here for you, and there are other people that are just like you out there.
Mm-hmm. You two have been in special education for quite some time, so you've had the opportunity to see not only how to recognize this, but also to help parents get through this, because I can see where they might feel defensive in some respects.
For sure.
How have you navigated those waters?
We have great teams of professionals at our school. Tom provides us with the cream of the crop of occupational therapist and speech therapist. We've got our Pickaway County Board of Developmental Disabilities that helps support these families. So I think when you can get a whole team of support around a table, I think at the beginning that can be a little bit intimidating for a parent. But once they realize that that whole community is there to help support this child and grow that child, then there's some comfort in that for those families.
Yeah. And Tom, as an administrator, certainly you're looking for ways, but have there been times where you're like, oh my gosh, I never thought about that, and suddenly a resource becomes available to you?
Yeah, I think one of the, like Jaymi mentioned earlier, when we sat down in the summer and started talking, I think it was just Jaymi and Marie Wilbanks from Pickaway DD at first, and we started just brainstorming this, and then we pitched that out to our school districts and our teams that we have there, and it just continued to keep growing. And just the passion that a lot of our people had for wanting to present about, just some things that I think even when we started down this path, we weren't sure about. Teays Valley has a wonderful mental health support specialist, and she wanted to come at it from that angle of supporting the mental health aspect in students with autism. And when we started down this road, I was thinking more of, well, we want to talk to them about speech, and we want to talk to them about occupational therapy, but there are so many other avenues that families are dealing with. And one of the things that's really nice about our planning committee is we have a parent that sits on our planning committee. She runs a autism support group for parents in the Pickaway County, and she's been very integral the entire way of saying, well, this is something we need. This is something I'm hearing. I think sometimes as educators, we can kind of get siloed out, and we just kind of think of the things that we're dealing with every day. But having that parent perspective continually kind of pushing into us saying, yeah, but what about this? This is something I'm struggling with, and this is something I'm not able to figure out on my own. I think then kind of refocuses us on what we can then adjust our supports to.
We've often looked in the education system about the number of students per teacher or teacher per student. And I know Westfall is one of the smaller school districts. Logan Elm is a little larger, but like Teays Valley is just growing like crazy. Having said that, do you have like twice as many cases that you're dealing with because you have more students?
Yes, we do. Yeah. And, we have challenges because kiddos with autism a lot of times take a lot of wraparound services, and some of those kiddos thrive in a regular classroom, don't need any services whatsoever. But then we have those kiddos that have the more significant needs, and they need a smaller classroom with more teacher adult support ratio to kids. So it's definitely a challenge, but we figure it out.
Yeah. And I know here in Ross County we have Pioneer Center. Is Brooks Yates still okay? It was when I was growing up in school in Pickaway County. But you have those specialty schools, but autism reaches into the public school system. Absolutely. And so we can't let these kids be left behind.
Correct. We offer, as Jaymi said, a variety of services in the school, and we are able to provide a lot of services within the school day for our students that wouldn't require them to go to, a school such as Pioneer School or when we had Brooks Yates. And we're happy to provide as many services as we can. And I believe that's good for all children in the school, because we all need to work together, and that includes children, in order to recognize that everyone is unique in their own way, and that we are all on this planet together. We're all in this world together in our little spot, us at Logan Elm, and we want to make everyone feel welcome and everyone feel that is their home. For us, we want to make all of our students feel like they're Braves, and they're proud to be Braves.
You have a special situation. You've got a new school. Mm-hmm. How is that embraced by the kids who had autism, that suddenly everything has changed for them?
Yes, it has been unique for some. Others have embraced it just fine, and some have struggled a little bit, just in the sense that, of course, everything was different. And in some cases, even the teacher, the room, the students were different for them. So last year was a little different for us in that respect, because, we came together as a whole school, and we recognized that we might have some of those challenges. And so we tried to prepare ourselves as far as paraprofessionals. Our paraprofessionals, I can't say enough about those people and how they help support their students. Some of our students have one-to-one paraprofessionals, and so they're able to help those students throughout the day when they might become dysregulated because of change. But that was one piece we tried to keep the same. So if you came to the new school with a certain paraprofessional, that's the person that you had, at least for last year, in order to help with that transition. And that seemed to help us along the way.
It's really, it has to be exciting for you as teachers to see a kid who doesn't have autism difficulties helping out with others who do. And let's be honest, kids can be knuckleheads, and I know it's got to be difficult for kids can just be mean. I don't care if you're autistic or not. How have you had to handle some of those issues? Is there a Pickaway County-wide blanket discipline type thing, or just the awareness of here's the reason these things are happening?
I think I was actually in Teays Valley District yesterday doing some observations, and I had an opportunity to sit in on their low incidence disability classroom that has some students with autism in it. And the amount of adults in there helping, but also amount of high school kids that were in there helping was just kind of blew me away. And not just, observing from afar, but actually hands-on right there, helping them understand. So I think sometimes as adults, we tend to limit kiddos in our own adult thinking. But I think kids, for the most part, see everybody as just part of the culture of that particular district, and accept them and take care of them, help them, and learn from them in a lot of cases. So, and I definitely saw that yesterday when I was in the district, because it was just really neat to see that relationship, that bond, and I could tell that those high school kids had been in there helping for a while, because it wasn't uncommon for one of the students to go over to the high school student and say, call her by name, and, oh, hey, how are you doing? And, what did you do over the weekend? I mean, just a typical interaction of two high school girls that you would expect. One just happens to have autism and one doesn't. Yeah. So from my perspective, that would just be one example, but I mean, I don't necessarily see it as much, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we try. That's one of the things, I know Tami is the same, that we include all of those children with our non-disabled peers. Obviously, that's part of the IEP, but that's part of our philosophy, is that those kids belong to this community just as much as the rest of us do. So they go to their homerooms, that, they may not be able to last the whole day with their homeroom, but they may go to morning meeting, go to gym class with them, go to art class with them, so everybody knows who they are and they feel a part of a community. That's super important to our families, to our kids, and to our adults in those buildings, for sure.
And then they can really also build a bond, and a lasting bond. Some of these kids will make friendships, no doubt, that last a lifetime.
Yeah, some of them are superstars in their buildings, for sure. Yeah.
It's fantastic. We've not really talked a whole lot about the event. Ohio Christian University will be hosting the Pickaway County Autism Summit. I know you're going to have everyone there from Pickaway County, but can outsiders come too?
Absolutely. We want to open this up to whoever wants to be there. It just happens to be in Pickaway County. We just happen to be the ones that organized it, but anyone and everyone is welcome. So we hope to branch out. We may be small this year, but we hope to have a good turnout and a positive outcome so that we can get more people involved in the future.
As with any first event, you don't know what to expect until you have it, right?
Right.
Is this a ticketed event?
You register online for the event, and that's just so we can make sure that we have enough seats available in those breakout sessions and things. But it's free. You can register online and then just show up that morning.
Pull that graphic up, if you would, Aaron, and show people, again, the actual image here where they can go to the website. There is a QR code on this image, and tell you what, take a look at our website. We'll have this on our website a little bit later on. We'll also share it on our Facebook and social media if we've not done so already. So, again, what time will everything begin?
8 a.m. The resource fair begins at 8 a.m. It's in the hall in the back where they have the Maxwell Center. Thank you, Maxwell Center. So the resource fair will begin at 8 a.m. and the keynote speaker, Jared Smalley, will begin right around 9 a.m.
Yeah. Have any of you met Jared Smalley?
No, I've communicated with him via email, but he's extremely excited to be part of it. And, we reached out to him, and he was very gracious to say, yes, I'd love to come talk to parents and share my story. And so we're very excited to have him there, and I think it'll be a great event.
You'll be pleased to know that he is as he is on TV. In person. So happy to have him again as the keynote speaker. He has embraced this because, first of all, he's invested in it personally, but much like Jimmy Crum did back when he was involved with Easter seals and other things as well. And I think most of us grew up with Jimmy Crum a little bit, didn't we?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Just want to make sure. So, but again, we appreciate you guys putting this together. I can't imagine what it's like for you to put your heads together and try to make sure all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted.
We're going to find
We
out.
hope so. We'll find out April 5th.
April 5th is Reckoning Day. Tom Kitchen, also Jaymi Brumfield, and also Tami Clark, thank you. Is there anything that we missed that you wanted to mention?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Appreciate it.
You want to say
We
go
appreciate
Vikings or
your
go Braves or anything?
Right.
Braves.
Go Vikings. Yeah.
They're friendly competitors.
That's right.
Appreciate you coming in today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you also for watching, and thanks to Kingston National Bank for sponsoring today's segment here on Litter Media Live.